Thank you, Madam Chair, for holding this meeting. I firmly support a woman's right to choose and believe that healthcare decisions should lie solely between a woman, her family, her doctor, and others that she may seek guidance from. With the Supreme Court's recent Dobbs decision, that right and that privacy can be taken away from our fellow Americans. In rolling back nearly 50 years of legal precedent, the court ruled that my 16-year-old granddaughter will now have fewer rights than my wife, who is in her 70s, has had for most of her life. All Americans should be able to make personal health care decisions that impact their lives, health, and futures. But this ruling has triggered a haphazard legal effort in Arizona that seeks to enforce a statute from 1864, before Arizona was a state. It imposes a total abortion ban with no exceptions for survivors of rape or incest or other hideous crimes that I handled as a police officer, both before and after Roe versus Wade. And this is the before part that is part of the issue also. As I watched women die from sepsis and hemorrhage and other factors, people that had made decisions in desperation for their own lives and their family's existence. This uncertainty has left Arizona doctors in legal limbo, unable to provide essential care, and has robbed women of the autonomy over their own health and care decisions. Since this decision, I have heard from doctors in our district who are unaware when they should or can start providing necessary and life-saving care, how long they must watch a woman suffer in pain before they can act to save her life. This is unimaginable and unacceptable. Dr. Verma, as an OBGYN, you have years of firsthand experience working to provide life-saving reproductive care. In your testimony, you discussed the notion of how sick is sick enough. Before you can provide life-saving abortion care to a pregnant woman. As I said, I have heard these same stories from doctors in Arizona. Do you believe restrictive abortion laws like the ban from contraception in Arizona will violate the oath physicians must take to do no harm? And I meant conception, not contraception.
Yes, absolutely. And I also have to say, I think that most people, most of your constituents would want their doctors to be able to provide them and their families with the best care instead of us having to think about whether we're going to face criminal charges or have our licenses removed for providing that care to them. That's what most people want.
I think Dr. Guthera, I don't know how much I screwed that up.
Guerrero, that's great.
Guerrero, I'm sorry. You are familiar with the challenges rural women face to receive health care where you practice in Indiana, with many women traveling several hours across substantial distances to get basic care. In my district, that might be 3, 4, 5 hours. Arizona's 1st District is over 56,000 square miles, larger than the entire state of Indiana. That is the norm in our district as well. What are some obstacles that women who live in rural areas must overcome to access health care, and how will the Dobbs decision put further barriers in their path to accessing care?
Sure, thank you for your question. So in Indiana right now, there is an 18-hour delay, which means that it takes 2 appointments to be seen. And that might not seem like a huge challenge, except that means that's 2 days of missing of work, with most likely you're not able to explain why, getting 2 days worth of childcare that you will probably have to pay out of pocket for a procedure that you also have to pay out of pocket. And then the travel, it can also add challenges to someone who is low income, because right now with the price of gas, it can make it almost a challenge that will stop anybody from being able to access care when they're in those marginalized communities. If somebody has a car, it might not be a reliable car, and if your car breaks down on the way there, you know, we work with people where that's it. the door or the window to getting access is shut. There is no magic credit card. There is no AAA to call. The best you can do is try to find a ride back home and then actually delay care.
Thank you, and I yield.
I thank the gentleman.